Hello, everybody. This is Mikey of MikeySuzeFour channel on YouTube. Welcome, everyone that's here, been waiting for the start of what we hope at the beginning of every week of our weekly webcam series, that it will be fun, entertaining, and informative. But before we begin, let us begin with some of my favorite music in the known universe. I had to make sure I played about 55 seconds of the Red Dwarf main theme song. It is public domain because it's been out there for 16 years. And this is from a friend of mine. I won't say his name because I want to keep it private. But it was available at the time when I had it. And one of my other friends, I'll only say his first name, Scott. But when I knew him in college at Arizona State University, he gave me a whole bunch of video VHS tapes and told me about Red Dwarf. He introduced it to me. That was a long time ago. At least about as long as the show is right now, which is over 30 years. It's 31 years. But when he introduced me way back, I was like, wow, yeah. And I'm old. I'm old. But anyway, welcome everyone to our weekly webcam series. And today, also, by the way, is Happy Labor Day for residents throughout the country of Canada. So, happy Labor Day to all of you and your families across Canada today. Okay, now let me give you a little background about Red Dwarf, and then we will begin. In the meantime, before we do, let's acknowledge our friends that have appeared here in the chat today to be witness to our first attempt here at Red Dwarf. Uh, the series itself has been in place for over 30 years. In fact, it will be celebrating its 31st year coming up, I believe, this year or next year, whenever they're deciding to bring it back. The last time I checked, there was a total of 74 episodes over a span of 30 years. Now, that doesn't include special compilations, which they called back in 1994, which they called Red Dwarf the Smeg Ups, or the other things that were added to the series. I do plan on going through the Smeg Ups. But first and foremost, I do want to cover the main episodes. As I said, there's a lot of seasons, at least 13, I believe. And don't forget, in Britain, they go by a series, they just don't go by seasons. So they don't divide it as the way that they do in the United States. So for their sitcoms. And in this case, it's a Brit sci-fi sitcom, right? So what they do is they divide it into what they call a series, and the series has however many over the years. As I said, a big long time. How many years that they have uh, with the episodes, and each season they were able to break it down in IMDb, which is what I do quote from all the time. And I know just a disclaimer, I know that IMDb isn't always accurate. I know this. I also know it's not very reliable in some cases because I have been corrected before. So that's fine. I don't mind that because I love to learn new information. And if people have that available to them, please, by all means, love to hear it. Um, so the way they did it in IMDb is they set it into 6 episodes per season. Okay. So with 13 seasons, there should be a total of, if I know my math accurately here, 78 episodes, correct? So right now we've got 74 or 73, but they keep adding as it goes. Um, so I think by now they should have 74. As far as I saw, there was 73. So because of the way they do it is 6 episodes per. So that's why I said for this webcam series reviews, I plan on doing 2 episodes per day, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays of each of the 4 shows I'm covering each week, which is Red Dwarf Mondays, ISIS Tuesdays, Greatest American Hero Wednesdays, and A Team Thursdays. And then on Fridays, we have Friday Night Frolics, and that's where we will be doing our movie reviews. Now, that will be current movies or what a lot of our fans recommended in the latest polls we had. They want to see reviews of Star Trek films and then Star Wars films. So, what we do plan to do is this coming Friday, we've been holding it out for too long. We wanted to do Deadpool and Wolverine, the latest one, Deadpool 3. So, yes, we will do that. But every Friday after that, we will go back to Star Trek. We pick up with Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. We haven't done that yet. And then we'll go on from there. We'll do Galaxy Quest in between. And then we will do before we even start all the Star Wars films, we're going to start with the Star Wars Holiday Special. We want to get that out of the way. I had so many people who said, "Well, it's a terrible movie or, terrible film and, from 1978." And I said, "Yeah, but it had Art the great Art Carney, right? One of his last roles, and then you had Diane Carroll. So it wasn't too bad, but I mean it's just not great, right? A lot of people just hate it. So it's going to be out there." But anyway, I don't want to waste too much time. I just wanted to bring you up to date what's going on, what we got planned out. We hope you guys and gals will enjoy it. So first we'll go here to the chat and we'll get started. I did say we should be on time at 12 noon Eastern. JPRPH1 was the first to come to our show today. He said, "Hi, MikeySuzeFour. I guess I have never been to one of these. Is it a Cosme watch along, or do I have to find the episodes before the stream, or should I have already watched them?" I said, "Hello to JPRPH1. I said, "This is just a review, and I'll be playing at least 55 seconds of the opening theme song. That way, I don't tend to want to get in trouble with YouTube because I think, like I said, it's public domain, so it should be okay. But I just wanted to play 55 seconds of it because it is a 4 minute, 55-second song, along with the singing of Jenna Russell. She's the one, that's the lady's voice that sings it in the theme. I'll mention that later. But yeah, and what I told JPR, what I do is I always try to enhance my reviews of this and other shows with a bit from each series. Like, for A Team, I always read the opening monologue that you know, the wonderful guy there, Ashley, John Ashley, was the one that did the monologue, and I try to read that before I start doing the reviews on episodes for 18. So. Um, let's see. Okay. And then I'm sorry, I'm trying to work on this. There we go. So what I did tell JP on further on was most of the series are described through group compilations on YouTube. Yes. Now on YouTube there are a few series 1 compilation. They put together all the episodes from that. They've done a series 2, they've done a couple of other ones. You will find those scattered sporadically throughout YouTube, but there is not one single channel that I found that is solely dedicated to Red Dwarf. And, like putting together all the episodes and stuff in a playlist or a library. I'm not sure why. There might be some restrictions from YouTube on that score. I'm not really sure. But I haven't been able to find that. If I do, I could refer that channel to you folks and let you know it's available on YouTube. but it hasn't been. But as far as, like I said, as far as I know, there hasn't been a playlist that's been put into the public domain on YouTube yet. But if any of you know of one that you don't have to pay for, or if it's free, like say Hulu or Netflix or whatever, let us know. And we can send people there so that they can actually watch the episodes for themselves in their entirety. So when I do my reviews on each of these episodes over time, you'll be able to catch up. And you'll say, "Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that," and other things that are there. So right. So I said most of the series are described through compilations on YouTube, but these episodes are usually on Hulu, or other media such as BBC Thames, BBC Thames, etc. So yeah, they're out there. Welcome to the show, JP. As I said, let's see here. Okay. So then, he's like, cool. JP said, cool. I was wondering why they were in the internet. Thanks. I said, you're very welcome. JP said, I probably watched the first two episodes sometime in my life, so I should be able to follow along today. I'll find the episodes between now and next week. That's great. And then we have our next wonderful subscriber, Mr. Hakeem. Hello, Hakeem. Good evening, Mikey and JPRPH1. And JP says hello to Hakeem. I don't know why I'm so nervous today, guys. This is the first time I've ever been able to put this out. My hands are shaking. That's not a good thing. Um, Hakeem says this will be all new for me. Yeah. And Hakeem says I've heard of it but never watched. Oh, it's great. It's great TV. I'm sorry. For British sitcom comedy type TV of its kind, it's unique, it's rare. It's been, like I said, it's been out there over 30 years. It's very, very funny. And sci-fi. And a lot of their sci-fi research actually can be applied to today. Yeah. So it's fairly accurate. It's very good. Um, right. JP says me too, Hakeem. Brad Wolf, '07 from our friend there at Jet Nerdy. Hello, Brad Wolf. Good to see you. Hi, Mikey. JP says I watched in college back in the '80s. Me too. Yes, I told you. My friend Scott, who I knew back in when I was attending ASU in Tempe, Arizona, there had late night shows that they wouldn't show on regular TV. This was on that public broadcasting station. It was called Channel 8 back then. And what they did was played Red Dwarf because it wasn't meant to be shown during the day. Kids wouldn't understand it, and some of the teenagers would get weird ideas from it. So that's why they decided to show it late night. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so Hakeem says, "Hey, Brad Wolf." Brad Wolf says, "Hi, Hakeem." Um, JPR says hello to Brad Wolf. And isn't it like a comedy show, JP? Yes, it is, Hakeem. Hi from JP for Brad. Yes, JP says. Yeah, Brad Wolf says, Red Dwarf is great. Oh, thank you, Brad Wolf. Okay, Hakeem says, I thought so. Brad Wolf says, remember, gazpacho soup. Yeah, I do remember that. Sorry for spelling. It's okay. Yeah, it's served cold. I learned that thanks to Red Dwarf. Yeah, me too. Gazpacho. Yeah. Be yourself adventures with Larry. Good morning, Mike. You look so much better. Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy about this, Larry. I'm so happy to be doing this. I hope you're feeling better yourself too, sir. And I hope your mom is feeling better. Please, please, no, let her know. We're hoping and praying for her every day. So as long as as well for everybody else. So please, I hope she's doing all right. Um, let's see. JPR says, "Good morning, be yourself adventures." Hakeem says, "I saw an article saying it will come back next year. Not sure if it's true. I heard the same rumor. In 2025, if any of the existing cast, that played Lister, well, I think Rimmer's gone. I'll have to confirm that. I don't know the guy Chris Berry that played Rimmer. I think he passed away, but I'm not quite sure. I'll have to check that. But if somebody else here in the chat could find out for me ahead of time, that'd be much appreciated. Yeah, because I don't know if he's still here. Now, Chris Berry, if you remember the name, he was the butler who served under Angelina Jolie's Laura Croft in the Laura Croft Tomb Raider and then the Cradle of Life, the sequel. Yeah, he wasn't there for Alicia Vikander's reboot of it later, but you know, but he was there, and I really appreciated seeing Barry. So, good morning, JP from Be Yourself, and let's see here. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to go through here real quick. I want to make sure I mention everyone here so I can go ahead and start the review here. Okay. Akeem says hello to Be Yourself. Be Yourself says hi, Akeem. And Curtis Selby, our tired midnight blogger. How are you, Curtis? Good to see you, sir. He says, morning, sir, lurking. And Curtis says, hail, JPR. And Curtis says, hail to Brad Wolf, Hakeem, and Be Yourself. Brad Wolf says, hi, Curtis. And Brad Wolf says, hello, Be Yourself. And hail to Curtis Selby from Hakeem. JP says, hello, Curtis. And Brad says, are you all right, Mikey? I hope you're shaking his only nerves and not something more. I hope not, Brad Wolf. I don't know what it is. I'm just doing what I can. Red Dwarf has my favorite answer to Who Shot JFK. I laughed so hard at that episode. Yeah. And good morning, Curtis Selby from Larry. Okay. Now, before I begin, one last thing I do want to mention. When I do these reviews, as I said, they will come from my IMDb. Like I said, if they're not quite reliable and accurate, but if any of you in the chat are able to help me out and find out if there is any updated information, let me know, and I will certainly mention it. Also, what we do with Red Dwarf is because most of it was filmed in studio there in Acton, in the UK. We're just going to go with trivia, goofs, quotes, and soundtracks. That's the only thing we can do from that show because they didn't really show anything outside. Now, if they do, I will mention film and production if it happens that way. But on my other three series that I cover, like I said, ISIS, Greatest American Hero, and A-Team, yes, I will be mentioning filming and production if it's applicable. Applicable? Did I say that right? Applicable out there. And I will do that along with the trivia, goofs, quotes, and soundtracks. Yes. So that's what we plan on doing. That's our weekly webcam series, or the acronym for it is WWS, like it's Superman. I love quoting that. Alrighty. And Larry says, never heard of Red Dwarf Mike. Well, you're about to hear about it today, Mr. Larry. All right, my brother. So let's go ahead and start with the very first episode, which is called The End. Isn't that weird how that is? Okay. So the plot is for season 1, episode 1, The End. This was filmed back on February 15th, 1988. So that goes back a lot of years. So the plot is on the mining ship Red Dwarf. Slobbish slacker Dave Lister dreams of a life in Fiji, away from his annoying bunkmate Arnold Rimmer. When he's placed in suspended animation, he wakes up 3 million years later to find the entire crew are dead. Now, the director of this episode, as well as for a lot of other episodes, his name was Ed Bye, Bye. Yeah, like goodbye. Isn't that weird? Yeah, the writers were, of course, Rob Grant and Doug Naylor. So, the main stars of the show are Chris Berry, who plays Arnold Rimmer, a hologram. Craig Charles plays Daniel Lister, who is a slob. He's a neophyte, doesn't know much about the ship or how it works. Danny John Jules is originally the cat they were experimenting on, a Frankenstein cat, but it came to life during the suspended animation time. And then Robert Bathurst plays Todd Hunter. I'm just going to recognize the people that it looks like they're still breathing. Of course, I don't know about Chris Berry, but Norman Lovett played Holly. And then later on, there was a female actress that played Holly. We'll get to that later. Mac McDonald plays Captain Hollister. There is Mark Williams, who plays Peterson. And finally, Claire Grogan, who plays Kuchansky. Her name in there was C.P. Grogan, but her name is Claire. And then there's a lot of other extras. Okay. So there is the storyline. Dave Lister and Arnold Rimmer are technicians on board the mining ship Red Dwarf. They loathe each other, being polar opposites personality wise. Due to being placed in stasis for an infringement, Lister finds himself the only survivor of the crew after a freak accident. He's not alone. Unfortunately for him, Rimmer is still around as a hologram. There's also the descendant of the cat he smuggled on board the ship, evolved into human form over the 3 million years since the accident. And it is TV 14. Yeah. So it is for those, uh, for teenagers and so forth. So, alrighty. We'll get to the trivia part of it here. All right. And to acknowledge that Rimmer's actor is still alive from what I can find on Google. Fantastic, Brad. Yeah, I like Chris Berry. Very good comedian, a good writer. He did write some episodes of the show. He also produced a few of the episodes. I don't know if he directed. I'm not sure if he did or not. But maybe he did. I'm not quite sure. Frankenstein was the cat that Lister refused to give up and was punished. The cat was the last descendant left upon the ship after Lister woke up. Yeah, he evolved after 3 million years. Yeah, that's that's a long time to develop into a human. 3 million years from what the cat was before. Yeah. And of course, Danny John Jules, who is also multi-talented, not just as an actor and a singer, but he plays lots of instruments and does things too. So he's very multi-talented. I was very happy to see him on here. Now, the one character you might notice we're not mentioning is the actor who played Crichton, Robert Llewellyn. I hope I said that right. Llewellyn. He'll come later, and we will mention him. But right now, he's not in the initial episodes. So we're just in these first few episodes. But we will get to him. I promise. Lister was lowest ranked crew member, just below Rimmer. He was a good but lazy guy. He just wanted to hang out. When pressed, he could actually accomplish great things. That's good to know, Brad. And Larry says, "Have a great stream, my brother." Mike, my brother, I have to get ready to see my mom. Okay, we'll give her all our best, okay? And send our love and hugs to your mom, okay, Larry, please. And I'll look forward to on the future stream when you come out, to do streams. I saw Toby do another stream yesterday, and I know he gave some prayers up and everything for your mom. So, yeah. Thank you, Larry. Thank you so much for being here in our first Red Dwarf incantation here. And Danny John Jules, yeah, well, that's how he spells it, was magnificent. Yeah, great dancer and singer. Always stole his scenes, and so much respect for him. And Larry says thank you. You're very welcome, Larry. Please, before Larry leaves, make sure you all know Be Yourself Adventures, great YouTube channel. Check it out. He travels all over Arizona, probably shows you places that you've never even known about before. He's very good at that. He's also been to California, to Disneyland, and some places. He'll show you those scenes as well. He's also been to New Mexico, a few other places. So, yeah, please check out Larry. He's got a great channel. And please, prayers up for his mom today. And Curtis says, "Take care, Be Yourself Adventures." Thank you, Curtis. Okay, let's get to the trivia. Now, I'm probably going to read them as fast as I can because there is a lot of trivia on this very first episode, and probably will be on the next episode I reviewed today. So bear with me, please. Have some patience. I'll try to get as much of it as I can. Okay, so filming the scene with the Frankenstein cat caused problems when it came to trying to get the right shot. The cat would not stay still long enough and would not look at the photo of Fiji and kept scratching Craig Charles' leg and running away. Charles' genitals were also visible in some takes. Grant and Naylor later considered digitally and editing them out, but went for an inferior take instead. Now, when Rimmer signs the exam sheet with his handprint, Chris Berry, who played Rimmer, signed his own name, not the name of his character. Danny John Jules, he spells it Danny, then it's John dash Jules. He performed See You Later, Alligator by Bill Haley in the comments, which was used in the George McIntyre funeral scene. Now, George McIntyre was intended to be Australian to fit to the idea that the ship was international, but the actor who played him, Robert McCulley, had problems with the accent and decided to make the character Welsh instead. Now, the episode was written in 1983 during a stay at a cottage in Wales belonging to Doug Naylor's father. Now, almost a mile up a mountain, Naylor and Rob Grant spent day and night writing. Almost finished, the pair had a near fatal accident during nightfall when their car veered peris- perilously near the edge of a cliff. Now, if they had died, there's no Red Dwarf. It would have never existed. The script was not finished as expected, as they spent the next day rescuing the car. Now, the script was rejected by the BBC 3 times before it was given the go ahead 3 years later. On Netflix, the song See You Later Alligator is substituted for Here We Go, Here We Go, Here We Go for George McIntyre's funeral scene. Now, the original Red Dwarf model shots for the first season were filmed in the model stage within the BBC Visual Effects Department building in North Acton, outside of London. Many of the department's workers, including storemen and general operatives, had no idea what the show was about and no clue as to the success it would become. The entire BBC North Acton complex of buildings has now been demolished and redeveloped. Now, in the pilot, Rimmer is supposed to be in his early 30s, and Lister is in his early 20s. Now, the time they filmed this, Chris Berry was 26 years old, and Craig Charles, as Lister, was only 22 when it was filmed. Robert Bathurst had a lot of trouble remembering his lines in regards to Todd Hunter's explanation to Lister as to how the stasis booth worked, resulting in a large number of outtakes, which were not included on either the Smegouts VHS or the Series 1 DVD, as Bathurst would not clear them for release. In this episode, Holly's head is shown in black and white. In the next, and in all the following, it is in color. Set designer Paul Montague gave the ship interiors a gray submarine look. Walls, floors, bunks, uh, cans, and even cigarette packets were colored gray. The Welcome Back George McIntyre reception featured bright red plastic chairs, which had to be covered up with jackets to avoid harsh clashes of color. Okay, here's a good long one. And before we do that, let's see what we got here. Oh, yes, much respect. Yes, and Larry says thank you, and Curtis says take care, and JP says be well. Oh, thank you guys. You're awesome. We've got 7 likes and we got 5 people watching, so this is great. Okay, I'll try to get through this big long one here real quick. All right, several scenes were cut from the episode. Now, during Z shift, Rimmer unscrews rivets and burns circuits, whilst Lister merely pushes the trolley, watching on and bored stiff. Lister begs Rimmer to let him do something, but Rimmer refuses, reminding Lister that he outranks him and Lister should just push the trolley and nothing more. He winds Lister up, telling him that unscrewing rivets is a divine feeling. The scene was excised because it was filmed without a studio audience, unlike the rest of the episode and the show. An alternate take in the sleeping quarters where Lister mocks Rimmer for failing his astronavigation exam so many times and failing to become an officer after so many years in the Space Corps. There's an extended scene with Lister and Navigation Officer Christine Kochansky flirting in the drive room as Lister is on the way to the captain's office. Lister plays with the controls to her chair, dropping her down. The scene was excised due to the actors not feeling it was genuine feeling and even embarrassing and nauseating. Lister holds a funeral for the dead crew members, which includes 4th Engineer Grace Allender, Mineral Geologist First Class Jeremy Black, and Drive Officer Russell Farnworth, gathering up their dust and putting them into canisters, firing them off from the drive room in much the same way George McIntyre was. His eulogies consist of, I never knew you, sorry you were dead. Rimmer complains that Lister is taking too long over everyone. When Lister gets to Rimmer's ashes, Rimmer decides to give his own eulogy, deludedly claiming that everybody on the ship liked him and calling himself a prince among men. Rimmer recalls a time in the refectory when he elbow tipped or brushed up against Officer Lovell's breast, getting a sharp verbal response and a punch. Rimmer then poured an entire jug of custard over her and ran away, saying, "What a guy," about himself. After Rimmer's eulogy, he walks away with melancholy, and Lister shoots the ashes off. Lister then gets out the ashes for First Consul Officer Christine Kochansky, saying that he was sorry he never told her he loved her or got to live out his plan with her. After shooting her ashes off, the cat appears for the first time, playing with Holly's wiring in the drive room like it is string. With the crew's funeral scene removed from the broadcast episode, the cat's appearance was moved to a later scene in the corridor where he tries to make himself look big, hissing. Although a pivotal Although a pivotal scene, Rob Grant and Doug Naylor decided to excise the funeral scene for a number of reasons, mainly the disastrous swing top bin effect of the pneumatic tube which shoots off the canisters. The episode and the series almost never happened due to an electrician strike at the BBC in 1987, which prevented filming and the project was shelved. Filming eventually went ahead after the industrial action was resolved. Now, the concept of Rimmer delivering his own eulogy would later be used in the season 1 finale, Me Squared. Although not started in the episode, George McIntyre is Rimmer and Lister's immediate supervisor. Now, while it is true that a cloister is an inner walkway that usually forms a quadrangle overlooking an open space, there is a much better definition that befits Lister's status with Frankenstein's descendants. For a million years, Lister has been asleep in the stasis chamber, so the more appropriate use of the word cloister would be to seclude oneself or shut up oneself as in a convent or monastery. The monastery is where the brothers would cloister themselves to meditate. Lister would have appeared to be meditating in his chamber. In the original script, George McIntyre's funeral song was "Heaven is 10 zillion light years away," Stevie Wonder, rather than the final version's "See You Later, Alligator." Ironically, around this time, an episode of Doctor Who in 1963, Delta and the Bannermen was supposed to use a Haley recording of Rock Around the Clock, but that production couldn't afford the licensing fee, so a staff musician recorded a new version instead. The broadcast episode differs greatly from the originally filmed version. Rob Grant and Doug Naylor felt that scenes from the episode did not work, so with a spare filming slot, additional scenes were added and previous scenes were filmed again. The reason why Holly can sustain only one hologram is explained in the novel Infinity Welcomes Careful Drivers. In order to create and maintain a hologram, including its personality and memories, the red dwarf requires the same amount of power per second it would need to light up Paris for a year. Todd Hunter states that Rimmer has made 247 complaints against Lister. These were 123 counts of insulting a superior technician, 39 counts of dereliction of duty, 84 counts of general insubordination, and 1 count of mutiny. Lister jumped on Rimmer's toe. Lister is worshipped by the cat race as Cloister the Stupid. A cloister is a covered walk, open gallery, or open arcade running along the walls of buildings forming a quadrangle or garth. Like I said, they like to repeat some things. And lastly, the holograms of McIntyre and Rimmer were originally going to be in grayscale to further emphasize that they are projections. It was a budgetary reason that prevented it. So it was decided to put a bolt, H, on their foreheads to distinguish them. The original idea was later adapted in The Promised Land, which came out in the year 2020. So when you see the bolt H on top of Rimmer's head, and also in this episode, Todd Hunter's head as a hologram, it's done that way. It's just done for budgets. Uh, but you know what? Because Chris Berry himself really liked to see the H up there, he just kept it. He just kept it, and that's how they did it. So that way, it identified to everyone in the episodes going forward he's a hologram, and the H is right there to prove it and tell what he is. Isn't that cool? I mean, and that's just simple. I mean, most people just picked it up and said, "Oh, yeah, that's it." And that's what happened. All right, cool. All righty. So we've got 8 people watching. Thank you so much. We got 7 likes. All right. So now we'll go on to the goofs in the show. So we'll go here to the goofs. Okay. Now, first of all, there's just 3 instances of continuity. So after first meeting the cat, returning to the teaching room, all the piles of crew members' ashes have disappeared from the desk. And that's one thing. When Lister and Rimmer argue in the drive room, Lister stands up and walks across the floor. When he says, "You're a hologram, so what?" he is suddenly sitting down again. When Lister says sarcastically, he says, "No, it's a chicken," he looks at his cigarette, then at Rimmer. Then he's suddenly looking at it again as it cuts to a 2 shot, as Rimmer responds by telling him he's on report again. Okay, there's 2 revealing mistakes. One is Lister's hand disappears just a second before he puts it through Rimmer. Okay, and then in the cat's first scene, the wall with the storage locker sign wobbles after he moves past it. The cameraman or another crew member probably bumped into it. Oh, nice. One miscellaneous. In the remastered version of this episode, Robert Bathurst's name is misspelled Robert Bathurst in the closing credits. Then there's crew or equipment visible. There is 2 instances. One is where the edge of a crew member's body is visible in the window when Lister tells the door to lock after Rimmer leaves for the exam. Number 2, when Lister asks Todd Hunter if going into stasis will hurt, a camera's shadow can be seen moving out of the shot on the edge of the stasis booth door. And there is one moment of a boom mic visible. The boom mic is briefly visible in the top left-hand corner, then is lifted away when everyone stands for the cutting of the cake at McIntyre's welcome back reception. And then lastly, there are 2 character errors. Lister spilling the milk when he pours it in a bowl for his cat Frankenstein is actually accidental, since he doesn't spill it in outtakes, where the cat runs away before he can get hold of it. But the milk spillage befits Lister's natural sloppiness. And as Lister walks into the bunk room, Rimmer pretends to be studying instead of copying test answers onto his body. He says the Pythagoras theorem when he should have said Pythagoras theorem. Likely this was an error made by Chris Berry rather than the character or writing. Okay. Alrighty. So we will get to the quotes here and the soundtracks in just a moment. Um, we also see here from Brad Wolf that, and we got 7 likes and 7 people watching. Thank you so much, everyone. Really do appreciate it. And God bless all of you. Thank you. I know this seems kind of long. I hope it's not tedious. I hope it's informative. But there's a lot here. Uh, Rimmer and Lister aren't the typical guys you would expect in a show of the last humans. So it's a nice change of pace, in my opinion. Yeah, Brad Wolf, I totally agree. I totally agree. And the cat just adds, right, just enhances it because he's human. That's the thing. When they first introduced him, and I saw the first episode, like I said, I'd seen all these episodes up to a certain point. When I saw that very first episode, and it's a cat, but it's a human, and he plays with himself, cleans himself, and does Danny John Jules. I mean, like, yeah, and he had the small movements. He went, ow, and he goes do all these things with instead of meowing big time, he went yow. I feel good, like that kind of James Brown vibe. Yeah, right. I mean, it was just funny. It was, and you know what? These episodes, believe it or not, you come across them on YouTube somewhere. Like I said, on other previous or on other social media. Um, please, let's just see if we can get through it without laughing when Danny does his big things, and stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Okay, let's get to the for this first episode, let's get to the quotes, of course. Alrighty. Okay. Now, when I do these quotes, I'm going to do them the best I can in my voice. Uh, I try to remember what the voices sound like from the episode. Don't hate me. I'm just trying to go by what to say. So here's the first big one. This is really important. So okay, so listener says, "Where's everybody, Hull? They're dead, Dave. Who is everybody, Dave? What? Captain Hollister? Everybody's dead, Dave. What? Todd Hunter? Everybody's dead, Dave. What? Selby? They're all dead. Everybody's dead, Dave. Peterson isn't, is he? Everybody's dead, Dave. Not Chen? Gordon Bennett. Yes, Chen. Everybody. Everybody's dead, Dave. Rimmer? He's dead, Dave. Everybody's dead. Everybody's dead, Dave. Wait, are you trying to tell me everybody's dead? And Holly says, I wish I'd never let him out in the first place. And then there's a brief one here between Lister and Captain Hollister. Sir, just suppose I did have a cat. Just suppose. What would you do with Frankenstein? Captain Hollister said, I'd send it down to the medical center and I'd have it cut up and test run on it. Lister says, would you put it together when you finished? Captain says, Lister, the cat would be dead. Lister says, so with respect, sir, what's in it for the cat? Lister says, how long was I in stasis? Holly says, well, I couldn't release you until the radiation reached a safe background level. And Lister says, how long? Holly says, 3 million years. 3 million years. I've still got that library book. And then Lister and Todd Hunter, Lister says, is this going to hurt? Haven't you ever traveled interstellar? No. Oh, you don't feel the thing. The stasis room creates a static field of time. See, just as X-rays can't pass through lead, time cannot penetrate a stasis field. So, although you exist, you no longer exist in time. And for you, time itself does not exist. You see, although you're still a mass, you are no longer an event in space-time. You are a non-event mass with a quantum probability of 0. Oh, simple as that, eh? And then Lister is to Ganymede and Titan. Yes, sir, I've been around. Lister, have you ever been hit over the head with a welding mallet? Lister says, I'm not the lowest rank on this ship. What about the laboratory mice? You tell those mice to do something, they've got to jump to it. Yes, Mr. Lister, sir. Eek, 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 eek. And then to the captain, he says, you asked to see me, Captain. Where's the cat? What? What cat? Lister, not only are you so stupid, you bring on board an unquarantined animal and jeopardize every man and woman on this ship. Not only that, but you take a photograph of yourself with the cat and send it to be processed in the ship's lab. Now, I'm going to ask you again. Do you have a cat? No. Have you got a cat? He was holding the photo up. Lister says, not until you pass your engineer's exam. And you won't do that because you'll just go in there and flunk again. Rimmer says, last time I only failed by the narrowest of narrow margins. You what? You walked in there, wrote, I am a fish 400 times, did a funny little dance, and fainted. Then, look out, Earth, the slime's coming home. And what's it feel like? Death? It's like being on holiday with a group of Germans. And Peterson has noticed that Rimmer has written notes all over his arm. Have you seen Rimmer's arm? Chen says, no, I'm waiting for it to come out in paperback. Holly says, I've been on me own for 3 million years, and I'm just used to saying what I think. I think I've gone a bit peculiar, to tell you the truth. And then Cat, looking at his sleeve, wow, Crease! He irons it with a portable steam iron. Lister says, I'm going to get a sheep and a cow and breed horses. With a sheep and a cow? No, with horses and horses. Captain Hollister says, just one thing before the disco. Holly tells me that he has sensed a non-human life form aboard. Oh, sir, it's Rimmer. And Lister says, you're a hologram, so what? And Rimmer says, I suppose you're right, Lister. I've got to pull myself together, but you've got to help me. You've got to be my hands and my touch. He says, I know the sort of things you like to touch. No way, Rimmer, forget it. Todd Hunter, he says, there are 169 people on board this ship. You, Rimmer, are over one man. Why can't you two get on? Lister says, you see, I try, sir. I'm not an insubordinate man by nature. I try and respect Rimmer and everything, but it's not easy because he's such a snakehead. And Rimmer says, did you hear that, sir? Lister, do you have any conception of the penalty for describing a superior technician as a snakehead? Todd Hunter goes, pats his shoulder. Oh, Rimmer, you are a snakehead. And then Lister says, and what about Chrissy? What about Chrissy Kochansky? She's dead, Dave. Oh, I don't suppose it's any consolation, but if she were still alive, the age difference would be insurmountable. And Lister says, she was Polton me plan. I never got round to telling her, but she's going to come with me to Fiji. She was going to wear a white dress and ride the horses, and I was going to take care of everything else. It was me plan. I planned it. And Holly says, well, she won't be much use to you in Fiji now, unless it snows and you need something to grit the path with. Holly! Lister, is that a cigarette you're smoking? No, it's a chicken. Lister says, this is terrible. And, this is just after he found out they were all killed by a radiation leak. This is terrible. And why is it so dirty around here, Hall? What is this stuff? That is catering officer Olaf Peterson. Ooh, I've been eating half the crew. Lister says it's stupid anyway, all this maintenance business. The only reason they don't give this job to the service robots is they've got a better union than us. And then Rimmer says, Lister, do you think it's easy for someone like me to become an officer? Someone who wasn't academy educated? Someone who didn't have the right knobby background? Someone who didn't have the right parents? You didn't have the right parents? Whose parents did you have? My parents, the wrong parents. McIntyre says, as you know, Holly's only capable of sustaining one hologram. So my advice to anyone more vital to the mission than me is, if you die, I'll kill you. Rimmer says, being a hologram is fine, Lista. I still have the same drives, the same feelings, the same emotions, but I can't touch anything. Never again will I be able to brush a rose against my cheek, cradle a laughing child, or interfere with a woman sexually. Rimmer, you never used to do any of those things anyway. But I would have done them one day, murderer. And look, you're not dead, are you? I mean, you're dead, but you're not dead because you're still here, aren't you? Lister, I'm not really here. I'm not really me. Don't you see? I'm a computer simulation of me. That's me there, that pile of albino mouse droppings. And then in a corridor, he discovers the cat. Uh-oh, better make myself look big. He raises his arms and Lister and Rimmer run away. And Lister says, here you go, cat. Ah, Crispies! Holly says you like these. Mmm. Hey, you monkeys eat off the floor? Ain't you got no style or sophistication? And he says, oh, I'm sorry, cat, I'm sorry. You people are unbelievable. And he lit the bowl to his mouth and lapped up the cereal. And Lister said, he's coming home with us, aren't you, cat? Home? And where exactly is home supposed to be? Earth. Earth? What makes you think there'll be any Earth, Lister? Even if there is, look what it's done to a household pet in 3 million years. Can you imagine what humankind has evolved into? To them, you'll be the equivalent of the slime that first crawled out of the oceans. And then Rimmer, reading the test answers he's written on his arms, what does this mean? What does any of this mean? I've covered my body in complete and total and utter and absolute nonsense. Gibberish. Ah, just relax, 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 relax. Well, hopefully I did a lot of that justice for you folks. I got another episode after this, so let's see. Yeah, funny aspect, Brad Wolf says. While he was in suspended animation, his pay was suspended as well. So his 3 million years in status didn't earn him a dime, but his bills did grow. And Akeem, ha ha ha. This show is a lot funnier than I thought it would be. Yeah. And hi, LDG, freethenet.org. Hello, my friend. Hello, brother. He says, Love Red Dwarf, been listening. Well, thank you, LDG. I hope I've done it some credit. I hope that I've been able to give you guys some uh, insight into the episodes themselves. Okay. So I'm going to finish here real quickly and keep track of the chat here, and then we'll go right to the second episode, Faint Echoes, or Future Echoes. Sorry. Okay. So on this first episode, as we said, heard at McIntyre's funeral was See You Later, Alligator, uncredited. Originally, it was written by Bobby Charles, but it was performed by Bill Haley in the comments. And as I played you the first 55 seconds of the Red Dwarf theme, that theme song was written by Howard Goodall. And the lady that sang it in triplicate, she actually just took her voice and tripled it 3 different ways. Her name is Jenna Russell. So make sure you check her out. She is available on YouTube, I believe, or maybe she might have passed away. I don't know for sure, but check her out. She's a very good singer. Then there was Me and My Shadow, which is uncredited. The music is by Dave Dreyer. The lyrics were by Al Jolson and Billy Rose. And the first line of the song was sung by Danny John Jules. As I said, he's a classic singer. He's worked on the British equivalent of Broadway. He's also an actor and a writer. So, yes. And then finally, Lister sang a song he wrote himself, Craig Charles, called Lunar City 7, which was also written by Rob Grant and Doug Naylor for Craig to sing it. Craig Charles. Okay. And like I said, because there's no filming and production information because it was filmed inside the Acton studios. Okay, so let me get to episode 2. And before we start with that, by the way, I should probably mention this. Um, the series itself did win back in 1994 British Comedy Award for best BBC sitcom, and it let's see, it won 4 international Emmy Awards. One for an episode called Gunmen of the Apocalypse, which was tied with Ab Fab from 1992. Uh, that was the winning one, the International Emmy Award. And then it was a nominee. There was a couple of Emmy nominees there, and let's see, another nominee. And then there were 3 winners they had from the Royal Television Society of the UK. One, back in 2013, was Best Special Effects, done by Doug Naylor, Bill Pearson, who was the model maker, and Diani Thrussell, who was behind the camera. That was an RTS Craft and Design Award. In 1997, they won for Best Lighting Non-Drama from Peter Morgan. And in 1991, they won for Best Visual Effects from Angus Bickerton, Mike Tucker, and Peter Wragg. WRAGG is how I spelled that. Then there's British Film Nominee. And then at the comedy.com UK Awards back in 2016, this show won for Comedy of the Year from Grant and Naylor. So, yeah, so awesome information there. Okay, so LDG is listening. Thank you, LDG. Bradwood says hi, LDG. Hakeem says hey, LDG, and LDG is waving to everybody. All of you guys are wonderful today. I appreciate you all being here for us here. I know it's long. I'm going to try to get through the second episode here as fast as I can. So, alrighty. So let's get right to it. We'll go back here just a bit. Okay, there's Holly. First time he was in black and white. Okay. Okay, now the second episode we're going to be reviewing here is Future Echoes. So let's go to that. Okay. So the plot for Future Echoes, which came out on February 22nd, 1988, it's season 1, episode 2. Holly navigates Red Dwarf during light speed, but when Red Dwarf goes through light speed 24 hours early, the crew witnesses strange events, and they find they are witnessing future echoes, images of events that will happen in the future. Ed By also directed this, along with the writers Rob Grant and Doug Naylor. Of course, the original cast: Chris Berry, Craig Charles, Danny John Jules, Norman Lovett, and at the time. One other person that presented himself was Tony Hawks. He was the dispensing machine's voice in this. The toaster's voice, which you all got used to laughing at in future episodes, was voiced by John Lenahan. He was the toaster. And then there's a baby Jim and a baby Bexley that are in this episode. So basically, it says the storyline is that Holly was navigating Red Dwarf during light speed, but when Red Dwarf went through the light speed 24 hours early, they witnessed strange events. They find they are witnessing future echoes that will happen in the future. Okay. Now we'll get to the trivia. Okay. To combat the problem of new viewers not understanding what was going on, a massive ship with only Lister, Rimmer, and the cat aboard, Holly's opening SOS message was introduced, with him delivering a different witty remark at the end. That's so cool. Now, the Scudders, they were described as roving shoeboxes in the script, were radio controlled props. After performing perfectly in rehearsals, during filming, one Scudder got radio interference from a nearby taxi company, causing it to go haywire, and it attacked Chris Berry in the groin. The Scudder performing the derogatory hand gesture to Rimmer was actually a Scudder glove. As noted in the cast commentary on the Series 1 DVD, Craig Charles said that the bucket the vending machine threw out hit him on the toe, and his foot hurt for the rest of the series. Oh, cool. This is the first episode to deal with matters of time travel and changing future and past events, a theory which will be used again in several more episodes. And hold on just a sec. Okay, there we go. So I'll just read out the episodes without the year because they're coming later. One is called Stasis Leak, then Backwards. Oh, I love Backwards. Time Slides, White Hole, The Inquisitor, Out of Time, Tika to Ride, Oro, bleh, Ouroboros, Cassandra, Lemons, Twentica, and Skipper. Now, originally, this episode was number 4 in the series, but it was switched to second because the producers felt that it was the best episode to really introduce the sci-fi aspects of the show. And this was the first episode of the series featuring a science fiction plot based on scientific theory, which became common in later episodes. In this episode, various time paradoxes caused by traveling at speeds nearing the speed of light are encountered, which are documented in Einstein's theory of special relativity. However, the future echoes observed are not supported by present theory. Split screen techniques were used as Lister talked to Rimmer's echo, just as the original Rimmer walked out the door. While Craig Charles interacted with Chris Berry the first time, he had to then act with thin air, where in fact the finished shot would have Rimmer's echo walking in from the other direction and Lister trying to talk to him. This was achieved by shooting the scene with Charles and Berry, and then a separate shot of Berry was added to the scene to follow on with the conversation with Charles. Well, that's cool. After the episode aired, Rob Grant and Doug Naylor became uncomfortable with how casually Lister takes the news of his future son's violent death. When this episode was adapted for Infinity Welcomes Careful Drivers, this was altered, so it's actually Lister's grandson who dies in the Navicomp explosion. Now, it is not known who played Jim Bexley Speed, the Zero-G football player, in Lister's photograph, and the unknown actor was not credited in the closing credits. The first appearance of some iconic artificial intelligences, such as the vending machines and the toaster, later revealed as Talkie Toaster in Whitehall. The song that Lister sings during the shaving foam scene was sampled on the 2015 track Rimmer Rimmer, Just Make Sure You Pay Her First by Glaswegian drag queen Deirdre Halliwell. In the first episode, the end, Holly is seen only in black and white, and since the episode Future Echoes, Holly is seen in color. The only exceptions are Holly's opening SOS message and the first dialogue with Rimmer requesting a new haircut. Lister mentions a hologram news reading on Channel 27. In Better Than Life, a 1988 episode, Rimmer watches the news on Channel 27. Now, it is established that although a hologram, Rimmer's hair grows as a human's would, perhaps programmed to do so. This means that Holly has to periodically project new haircuts for him, essentially giving Rimmer a haircut. This also foreshadows later series, where it would be revealed that holograms also age in appearance as a human would. The song Talkie Toaster sings is Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra. The first appearance of Lister's space bike. Lister's Jupiter Mining Corporation registration number is given as RD52169. This, of course, would be meaningless 3 million years into the future, but is apparently still necessary to access vending machines on Red Dwarf. Rimmer claims that Lister had a previous notable experience with marijuana gin, and Rimmer's necrobits is first seen in the episode. Now, here's the spoilers. Um, In the Red Dwarf universe, Polaroids are still being made several centuries into the future. The photo of Lister holding the two babies is a real Polaroid which was filmed developing in real time during the closing credits. An Easter egg on the Series 1 DVD includes raw footage of this sequence, and the two babies can be heard crying in the background of the shot as the photo had just been taken. There is also Crichton's infamous double Polaroid scene in the Series 4 episode DNA. The 171-year-old Lister seen in the episode has a metal prosthetic right arm. This coincides with when Lister has his right arm cut off by Crichton in an attempt to kill the epidem virus inside Lister, and Crichton starts to build Lister a prosthetic arm in the Series 7 episode Epidem. However, Lister's flesh and blood arm is later rebuilt by the nanobots in Nanarchy. Yeah, Nanarchy. Sorry, Nanarchy. Throwing this future echo into some confusion. It may have been an echo of, say, one possible future where Lister never had his arm rebuilt. Rimmer says to Lister that you can't cheat death by whacking it on the head. Ironically, at a later date, when Rimmer has been resurrected by the nanobots in the flesh and is facing his end a second time, Rimmer kicks Death himself in the balls and runs away at the conclusion of Series 8. Rimmer and Lister encounter a future echo of Lister with newly born twin boys, which becomes accurate at the end of the following season. Holly replacing Rimmer's own hair with a red beehive hairdo foreshadows Rimmer meeting and falling in love with Nirvana Crane in Hollow Ship, who is also a hologram and has a red beehive hairdo. Rimmer insults Lister by calling him a pregnant baboon-bellied space cookie. This foreshadows Lister falling heavily pregnant after sleeping with his female self in a parallel universe at the end of Parallel Universe, which comes later. Rimmer tells Lister that he can't whack Death on the head, but in Only the Good, Rimmer kicks the Grim Reaper in the groin. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. And JP says hello to LTG Free the Net. And JP says, I found it on BritBox on Prime. I got the 7-day free trial. I can binge quite a few in a week. I've been wanting to come back to this. Thank you, JP. That's awesome. So, okay, BritBox on Prime. If everybody wants to try that out, it's available. It has full episodes on there. That is awesome. Thank you, JP, for letting us all know about that. Curtis says, howdy, LTG Free the Net. Freedom! Brad was said, sorry, Mikey, I've got to go. Family member's birthday. Have a great rest of the stream. Well, say hello to your family members for us and tell them we love and support and pray every day for them. So let them know. Okay, Brad? That'd be awesome. Thanks, babe. Getting some lunch put together for me here. Yeah, she just waved to everybody. um, have a great day, Brad, from JP. Take care, and I hope the family has a great birthday, Brad Wolf. Thank you so much, Brad Wolf, for being here today. I really do appreciate it. We have 10 likes and 7 people watching. This is awesome. Okay, let's take a look at the goofs now. Yep, take a look at the goofs here. Okay, first of all, there's 2 continuity goofs. In the drive room, Rumor's future echo says, "You're space crazy," even though in the actual conversation with Lister, Rimmer says, "You are space crazy." In the drive room, when Rimmer, the future echo, says, "Shut up," when he is interrupted, he lifts his arm up. In the actual conversation, when he says, "Shut up," he doesn't lift his arm. Okay? One factual error. Rimmer tells Lister he doesn't want to spend 300,000 millennia alone while you're in suspended animation. But 300,000 millennia is 300 million years rather than 3 million years. However, in Rimmer world, he does use millennia correctly. Therefore, this was a scripting error. Ah. Now, here's 2 things that were incorrectly regarded as goofs. Rimmer says that his father committed suicide, but in Better Than Life episode, the letter from his mother says that he passed away peacefully in his Jeep, and Rimmer didn't know at the time that his father was dead. However, Better Than Life, Rimmer says he said that just before that rather unfortunate suicide business, but he never says or alludes to this being a successful attempt. Now, there's a couple times that the crew or the equipment are visible. A crew member's legs can be seen moving in the reflection on the chrome of the toaster when it says, "Did someone say they wanted toast?" A script held by someone moves into the reflection on the fish tank when Lister takes a swig of whiskey after he causes the cat to lose a tooth. When the second flash occurs and Lister is running across gangways to the drive room where Rimmer tells him that he just died, the camera pans left to follow Lister running down a flight of stairs. 2 crew members' feet and legs are visible left of the screen. A crew member wearing jeans and a yellow shirt can be seen in the reflection on the chrome of the toaster when it says "light speed" and Lister says "smart arse." Then later in the scene, as it says, "Yes, of course it is, bozo." And then a crew member's legs can be seen in the reflection on the chrome of the toaster after Lister thumps it. So there's a couple of the goofs that were in this episode. And cool. We're all catching up here on the chat. We're all caught up. That's awesome. All right, we move on. We go next here to the quotes. Again, don't hate me. I'm going to try to see these quotes in the best possible voice I can. This first one is between Rimmer and Lister. Rimmer says, "Brace yourself for a bit of a shock, Lister, but I just saw you die." "What?" He says, "I did warn you to brace yourself." "You didn't give me much of a chance." "I gave you ample bracing time." "No, you didn't. You didn't even pause." And he says, "Well, I'm sorry. I just had a rather nasty experience. I had just seen someone I know die in the most hideous way." "Yeah, me." And then Holly by himself says, this is the beginning. This is how he always kind of throws things out there. He says, "This is an SOS distress call from the mining ship Red Dwarf. The crew are dead, killed by a radiation leak. The only survivors are Dave Lister, who was in suspended animation during the disaster, and his pregnant cat, who was safely sealed in the hold. Revived 3 million years later, Lister's only companions are a life form who evolved from his cat, and Arnold Rimmer, a hologram simulation of one of the dead crew. I am Holly, the ship's computer with an IQ of 6,000, the same IQ of 6,000 PE teachers." Oh, okay. Lister and Rimmer, and Lister is preparing to go into stasis. Rimmer isn't happy about it. "Holly's supposed to have told you. I thought you wouldn't mind." Mind? Mind? Why should I mind? 300,000 millennia alone while you're in suspended animation? I'll be fine. I'll do that crossword puzzle book. That should kill a couple of centuries. Will switch you off until you come back out. Even better. Switch me on, switch me off, like I'm some battery powered sex aid. Rimmer, he says, as my father always said, shiny clean boots and a spanking short haircut, and you can cope with anything. He said that just before that rather unfortunate suicide business. Rimmer, he says, if you had Rimmer and Lister. Rimmer says, if you had two people coming for a job and one of them was dead, which one would you pick? And it depends on who was better qualified. And Rimmer by himself. Black Border begins. To Dave Lister, condolences on your passing away. What's that poem? Now, weary traveler, rest your head, for just like me, you are utterly dead. And then the cat and Lister. The cat wants to bring in 10 racks of suits into the stasis booth with them. Of course, there's no room. Lister, oh, you can take 2 suits and that's it. 2 suits, and I'm staying. You can't stay. By the time I come out, you'll be dead. 2 suits is dead. Hey, if I cut off my leg and leave it behind, can I take 3? The cat says, I wish I was someone else. Then I could kiss me. And Holly says, we're traveling faster than light speed, or LS. What's LS? Light speed! Smart R's, the toaster. Rimmer says, Holly, Holly. This is the recording. I'm afraid Holly is busy at the moment. But if you'd like to leave a message after the bleep, he will get back to you. Bleep. uh, Rimmer says, this is a haircut designed for action, not pouncing around in. Maybe a bit too severe, a bit too green beret. But you are how you look, and I look like a complete and total tit. Rimmer again says, it will be happened. It shall be going to be happening. Was an event that will have been taking place in the future. Simple as that. And then I just mentioned that one about Holly. I am Holly, the ship's computer, with an IQ of 6,000. The same IQ as 6,000 PE teachers. And he says, look, I'm trying to navigate it faster than the speed of light, which means that before you see something, you've already passed through it. Even with an IQ of 6,000, it's still brown trousers time. Cat says to Lister, and he's watching a slideshow of his old photos. Who's that guy? That's me, grandmother. She brought me up. She was a great old lady. I got expelled from school once because she nutted the headmaster when I came bottom in French. And now there's a dialogue here between the cat and Lister. And Cat says, who is that? That's me dad. That's the only picture I've got of him. He's your father? No wonder you're so ugly. No, no, that's his dog, Hannah. Dog? What's a dog? It's just a pet. Listen, you go and get your stuff and let me pack mine, okay? Will you do that for me? Dog. He'd better not be around here any place, because if he is, I may have to chase him. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Do you know how big they are? They're around 18 foot long. And they got teeth as big as your leg. Yeah? Yeah. Well, I may have to chase him anyway. Ugh. And then between Rimmer and Lister. What about me? What happens to me? He can't hear us, Rimmer. He's from the future. Ah, but if I ask you now, you can remember it. And when you get to be him, you can tell me. Boss thinking. Rimmer, you wanted to know what happened to you? Yes. Well, come closer. Yes. Come closer still. Yes. Closer. Yes. You get. He says, no, you get. They're all gets. I'm surrounded by gets. Holly, you're a get. A what? You heard. And then remember Holly says, what are future echoes? How simple do you want this? Solista can understand it? Oh dear. It's difficult, I know. And then Mr. Rimmer says, yo, Rimmer, look, I've been thinking. What? About going into stasis and everything. How did I do what? What do you mean, how did I do what? Lister, don't be a gimbal. I'm not a gimboid. I've just been in the library thinking, and I've decided. Shut up. As I was saying before, I was so really interrupted. I've decided when you go into stasis, I want to stay behind. I want to be left on. What? On your own for the rest of your life? What things? Eh? I said, what? What's going on? You are space crazy. I'm space crazy? You're the one who's space crazy. Well, it probably is deja vu. It sounds like it. Rimmer, I just seen you walk out of that door. What? How did you do that? How did I do what? You, just this second, walked out of that door. Listen, don't be a gimboid. I swear on me grandmother's life, as you walked out of that door, you came in this one. I've just been in the library thinking, and I've decided, Rimmer, I'm telling you, shut up. As I was saying before, I was so really interrupted. I've decided when you go into stasis, I want to stay behind. I want to be left on. Rimmer, you've just come in and said exactly these things. What things? You said that. I said, what? And that. You said that. You are space crazy. And then you said, well, it probably is deja vu. Well, it probably is deja vu. It sounds like it. Well, go on then. Shake your head and walk out. And then the cat is watching slideshow. Lister says, "Ah, now that one's me with Jim Bexley Speed. He played for the London Jets zero gravity football team. He was roof attack. As you can see, he was really, 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 really thrilled to meet me." And then Lister remember quickly saying, "Did you see anything really weird in that mirror?" "Yes, you ugly git." Anyway, that was some of the wonderful stuff there. All right. Well, sad to say, but we're coming to our final part of the second episode here, Future Echoes, where we go into the soundtracks. So we'll go into that real quick. As I said, I hope that all of you have been happy to watch this first two episodes of Red Dwarf, the wonderful series there from Britain. I hope that you like, subscribe, share this channel with all of your friends, and please don't forget to hit the notification bell, the ding, 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 so that you come and watch future updates here and also reviews of future episodes of Red Dwarf, as well as the Secrets of Isis on Tuesdays, the Greatest American Hero on Wednesdays, and of course, my favorite show of all time, The A Team, on Thursdays. And then Friday Night Frolics, where we do our live streams. So please come by, have some fun. Okay. For Future Echoes, there is only two soundtracks. One, of course, being the Red Dwarf theme, again performed by Jenna Russell and written by Howard Goodall, and the Lunar City 7 song, again performed by Craig Charles, who plays Lister, and it was written for the series by Rob Grant and Doug Naylor. So, and that is it. Boy, that was fast. We are done. I hope I read that fast enough, but also I hope that I read it coherently enough so that you could all gather information from it. And when you watch future, like I said, when you watch the end and future echoes from the series, now you know what goes behind the scenes and everything that's happening with those first two episodes. So I'm going to start watching this show. It is freaking hilarious, Hakeem. It totally is. So before we go into our prayer for the day, Um, on behalf of Hakeem, Curtis Selby, JPRPH1, LDG Free the Net, Brad Wolf '07, my friend Larry from Be Yourself Adventures. Remember, we're praying for his mom. Hope she does better. Seems to be doing okay so far, so that's good. Alrighty. Yes. Okay, great. We mentioned everyone. And on behalf of the 10 likes for this first episode of the two, or the first episode of Red Dwarf Reviews, thank you, thank you, thank you so much on behalf of both of us, me and Suzanne. Thank you, all you wonderful people, for liking and subscribing. We do have 191 subscribers still. We're just 9 away from 200. Um, and I will do another live stream when we do reach officially 200. I know I did one before, but that was to thank everyone we had up to that point. The last stream we did has already over 20 likes. This last live stream we did, um, on Sunday yesterday, and I'm so happy. It was a good stream. We had some great people up there, Miss Raquel, we had Miss Moira, we had Larry came up to help us a little bit. We had Curtis Selby. We had uh, oh, I'm trying to remember who else was there. Um, right, and we had for the first time Booker 414 who came up to visit us as well. And Larry was there, like I said. So we had a good cast there yesterday. And of course, the one that helped me out was Sci-Fi Sif Dan. Daniel, thank you so much for your help. Really appreciated that, and I appreciate that you were able to hang with us throughout the entire stream. It was over 4 hours long, but it is worth it, and it's available in my viewing on our viewing here on the channel. So check it out. It's very good stream there. Okay, so let's go into our uh, final prayer before we end today. And before we do, Akeem said he's going to start watching this show. Curtis says, this is on Prime or on YouTube? Huzzah. Well, it's BritBox Prime that one of the gentlemen here found for us. And you can do a 7-day free trial to check it out, binge watch the show if you need to. Thanks for having me on it, sir. Absolutely, sir. I'd love to have you there. We loved having you there. And JPRPH1 said, I can only find it on BritBox and on Prime. There is a 7-day free trial, Curtis Selby. Thank you, JPRPH1. Thank you so much. So next time I do this next Monday, I will mention that it's on BritBox and on Amazon Prime, and that it's also available, parts of it, of different episodes on YouTube. So check those three out for the media section of that. Gotcha. JPRPH1 Curtis says. Okay, so, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this wonderful thing we call social media. It does bring all of our family together. The people we know here on YouTube, Twitter, Twatter, X-Ray, whatever you call it, StreamYard, Restream, whatever attachments we have, they're all of our family, not just the community. We're praying for all of our immediate family members we know throughout the United States and Canada and around the world. We hope that everybody has a wonderful life ahead of them going forward, and everything is going to be well. We hope for no more tragedies, no more passings, unless that's your way, Lord. And we leave it up to you and leave it in your hands, as my wonderful wife Suzanne says. So, with all this, we pray to you, our Lord God, our Jesus Christ, his Son, our Savior, to the Holy Spirit, who binds us all together with the Trinity, and of course to the Blessed Virgin Mary, who gives us wisdom and strength. For all this, I pray in your name, Lord. Amen and amen. And Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. We got the prayer from JP, the prayer hands from Curtis, and JP says amen. Yes, with the prayer beads. Absolutely. Absolutely. So we will finish here at the bottom of this half hour. We'll go officially 1 hour, 30 minutes. And I feel that's pretty much what each of these 2 episodes I do from each series will cover. As I said, I hope I didn't read them too fast. I hope that you, gentlemen and ladies, anyone who rewatches this episode of Red Dwarf, um, was able to, know that I was trying to speak coherently and correctly, so that I could get all the information out there for you folks. I hope that meant a lot to you. It gives you a little more information about the show that I could put together. Uh, One last time I'll mention, of course, is IMDb. I do use a lot of it. As I said, sometimes it isn't reliable or viable, but if you folks, like I said, have some additional information to provide in the chat, please do. It's more than welcomed, and I will use it. And I will use it regardless. I will see it and go, yes, okay, cool, because I didn't know that before. See, I'm always learning. I'm always learning about this. We both are, and Curtis says, great. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Akeem says, thanks, Mikey. You're the best. And JPR says, you were perfect, Mikey. Thank you. Thank you. Curtis says, great stream. I had never heard of it before you shared it with us. You were going to review it. Oh, that before you shared with us, you were going to review it. Well, thank you. And JPR says, thank you so much. It was great. Made me want to see it more, Akeem. Good. And if I got at least one of you to say that, then we've done our job. And all the likes that we had. Believe me, when the poll was over, Red Dwarf had a 53%. The next closest was it was a tie between, well, a little bit of a tie between TOS and every uh offshoot extension all the way to just Enterprise, which had Archer and Scott, played by Scott Bakula. So basically from TOS all the way to Enterprise. And then the next one, close behind at little less than 20%, but that was Get Smart. Yeah. So what we'll do is when we finish with uh Secrets of ISIS, because it only had 22 episodes. We'll go right to TOS and we'll start reviewing 2 episodes from the original series, Star Trek. And then on Wednesdays, as I said, we have Greatest American Hero. But when that runs out, because that will run out before we run out with 18, then we will also do 2 episodes of Get Smart from the very beginning. And don't forget, I'm also going to include not only, like I said, we're also including the Star Trek movies are every Friday night after we do Deadpool Wolverine this coming Friday. Then we'll do the remaining Star Trek films, all of them, including the unofficial one they call, Galaxy Quest with Tim Allen you know, and Sigourney Weaver. So yeah, that'll be there. Sam Rockwell, and the late, Alan Rickman, who we all miss as Snape, along with the role he played um, in Galaxy Quest. And then, of course, then we'll go on to Star Wars films, but we will go with Star Wars, the holiday special, and then we'll go on to the movies. Yeah. So we'll do all that. That's all coming in the future. So I hope that all of you appreciate that. And then, like I said, on the Get Smart shows, when we finally get to the end of the Get Smart episodes, we will go right to the reboot. Uh, well, first of all, we'll go to the Get Smart extended episodes they did, which only lasted a few of them, which had Andy Dick in it, the comedian, right? A couple other people. And then after that, we'll go right to the 2009 movie that had Steve Carell, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Anne Hathaway, and of course, Alan Arkin. So, yeah. So that's all coming up. Everything is coming up there for you guys. That's great, Hakeem. I appreciate that. Well, we're almost there, so I'm gonna get my drink going while I watch videos. I do try to stay updated. I've been watching uh, videos right now, which are available. There is a complete playlist available on YouTube for the Secrets of ISIS episodes. That was the Saturday morning back in 1974, 75, 76, and so on, where they had Joanna Cameron. Unfortunately, she passed away 2 years ago. Rest in peace, Joanna. But she played the lead role of the almighty ISIS. There was a couple other people also, the actor and the actress. I always mention them later on, but both of them unfortunately passed away as well. So there aren't many people left from that show. And then on Greatest American Hero, as far as I know, William Catt and Connie Selica, and well, I know that Robert Culp died, um, but Catt and Selica are still breathing. I don't know about anybody else from the show as yet, but I will find out on those as well. Or you guys can help me do that to help me find out. uh, who did well and everything. So, and it's still around. Yeah. Yeah, JPR says, that all sounds fun. I loved Get Smart. Buck Henry was a genius. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. I will. And don't forget that Buck Henry actually did write some of the early episodes of Saturday Night Live. Don't forget that too. He was very good at what he did, comedy writing. We don't get that anymore, do we? It kind of went by the wayside. It's gone. But back then in the 70s, 80s, even some 90s, comedy was king. And of course, he had Robin Williams. You don't have to tell any more about Robin. You knew Robin was great. But you had all the other ones. You had your Don Rickles, you had your uh, Albert Brooks, you had your Jerry Seinfeld. You had all the good people that were there. And now it's just like it's gone. I don't know. It's so sad. Missed it by that much. Yeah. Yeah, he did. I didn't know that. Yes. Yes, he did, Curtis. Yeah. Right, right. Okay. Yeah, Curtis says, I miss comedy. I don't think SNL has been very funny for the last 8 or 10 years. I'll go even further, sir. It hasn't been funny since 1994. So that's 30 years. I'll go even further than that. So by next year, when we reach 2025, the show has sucked for 31 years. Yeah, that's just me. Okay, that's just my opinion. Um, but I do have a poll I might come up with later on this week. But let me know if it's a good idea. Um, I may go ahead and start doing sometime next year. I may start doing Saturday Night Live episodes, and I know there's a whole bunch of them that are available on YouTube that you can watch and then review them. So I'll do a poll, and I'll just say simply yes or no. Would you like me to do SNL episodes reviews later on in the future in 2025? If you're all in favor of that, just hit yes, or if not, hit no. And I will put that poll up like I said, sometime later this week. Probably just before. I might do it Thursday because it's just before the stream, and I want to make sure Deadpool and Wolverine is fine and that we got everything set up and done the way it's supposed to be done. So yeah. Was that the JPR said, was that the SNL Spinal Tap group? Yes, Spinal Tap came from that. I believe they did. Yeah. Yeah, because Christopher Guest was a part of that. And Christopher Guest was one of the early writers of the show. So yes. Coneheads came from that. Austin Powers. Eventually Michael Myers got all of his things from experiences what he had on SNL as well as Bond films and all that stuff. Yeah. Um, yeah, I did say Coneheads. What was the other one? Oh, Blues Brothers, of course. So Blues Brothers 2000, all from SNL. Yeah. So yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot there. Yeah. Yes. Curtis says 1994 was the year it started its decline. I would agree, but they had an occasional skit, less and less as years went by. The last funny thing I think they did was their skit on Hallmark Christmas. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. And of course, the most famous Saturday Night Live episode, the one where Will Ferrell and a bunch of them are like they're the band Blue Oyster Cult, and their manager, played by Christopher Walken, asking for more cowbell. Classic, classic. I still laugh at it. I can go back there because I have it downloaded, right, on one of my playlists. I can go back there and watch it and just laugh my head off. And yeah, yes, yeah, etc. Yes, LOL. Exactly, JPR. Yeah. When was the cowbell episode? That was funny. It was sometime just before 1994, I believe, Curtis. You can look it up. The episode is available on their Saturday Night Live website on YouTube. It is there. All you have to do is just type in cowbell skit SNL, and it should pull it up. Yeah, it should pull it up automatically with Christopher Walken. Yeah, it's the funniest one ever. It's in a lot of lists if you go on, there's a list from, you know, oh, what's that famous one? Watch Mojo. Okay. WatchMojo.com and MissMojo.com. They always do these like a Saturday Night Live list. Cowbell skit is right there at the top. I guarantee. It is the funniest one ever I've ever seen. There's another good one too, and I do that, and I say this one partially, and then we'll go ahead and clean things up here and get everything done. Uh, there's another one I partially like. It has Steve Martin in it and Sting. And what Steve Martin calls him is Gold Sting. It's supposed to be like, you know, Goldfinger, but it's Martin playing like he's James Bond and Sting playing like he's Gold Sting. It's hilarious. It really is. And I love watching that one too. That's one of my favorite SNL skits. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. So check that out too if you find it. It's also available. Okay. So, like I said, on behalf of everyone that was here, we have 10 likes of the episode today. Thank you so much, everyone that gave the likes to our show. We got 5 people still watching, so that's absolutely amazing. Thank you, everyone, for being here. On behalf of myself and Suzanne, we love you all. We send God's blessings to all of you and your families, and hope that everyone is doing well. And also, on behalf of my favorite nerd growing up in the 70s and 80s, Mr. Chicago Sun-Times reporter himself and movie critic, Gene Siskel, rest in peace, my brother. The aisle is now closed. So thank you everyone for being here today. And don't forget, tomorrow we have our next weekly webcam series covering the secrets of ISIS, and I'll let you know the uh, episodes we'll be covering each day. So I want to keep you guys in suspense, but you can also read it. If you go there and click on it, it will show you in the description which episodes we'll be covering each day. So if you want a little hint, it's there. Just check it out. So thank you, everyone, and again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again on the Mikey Suze 4 channel. Peace.